Right now, on To The Point. The aftermath of a days-long blizzard in the Sierra. More than 7 feet of snow falling. Dozens of trucks stuck on the road.
Be prepared and have plenty of water, plenty of food for conditions like this.
The warnings tonight as we prepare for more snow.
Incoming system taking a new path, tracking where it will land for our Tuesday.
Plus, the concerns about voting.
Our vote center workers were incredible. They were digging their cars out, spending hours digging out so that they could get to the vote centers in time.
How officials plan to keep things open. Tonight, more snow is on the way for the Sierra. Thanks for joining us on To The Point. I'm Becca Habiger. Alex Bell has the night off. Now, this is just some of the video showing roads starting to clear after the weekend's blizzard. It closed highways, ski resorts, and dumped feet of snow in the higher elevations, and more is on the way. So let's get right over to Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods, who is tracking the timing of all of this.
Yeah, still slow going up in the Sierra, as you can see here at Donner Summit. There's so much snow still on the ground, slow going at Highway 50 as well. As we head down the hill, though, it looks pretty good in terms of travel, but we're still getting areas of snow for tonight. A renewed chance of some accumulating snow, especially overnight tonight through tomorrow and even into our Tuesday and Wednesday forecast. That's because we've got a weather system that's pulling in off the coast. It's much, much weaker than what we saw over the weekend. Nonetheless, we have a winter storm warning in effect until 4 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday for the northern part of the Sierra, all the way through Shasta up towards the border. Now, in terms of those storm totals, we got 70 to 120 inches of snow for the Sierra. That's why it's going to take some time to dig out, especially with some of that light snow that's coming in. About a half an inch to an inch of rain in the valley and closer to about 1.5 inches to 2 inches across the coast. In terms of what we're expecting for tonight, I'd say keep those umbrellas handy, keep the chains handy, and be prepared for more travel delays in the Sierra all the way through our Tuesday morning and even into the afternoon as well. Our Tuesday weather headlines, though, heading out for Election Day. Cool temps stick around. Valley clouds mainly dry, but those Sierra snow showers are here for the next couple of days. More on that coming up.
Monica, thank you. Tonight, I-80 is back open after blizzard conditions in the Sierra shut it down over the weekend. Now, this is a look at the interstate near Soda Springs about an hour after reopening. Some closures left drivers stranded. Our Alicia Machado joined us live from I-80 near Applegate tonight. Alicia, you spoke with some drivers who were stuck for days.
Yeah, Becca, that's right. One truck driver I spoke with was stuck on the side of the highway for 5 days. Today marking that day 5 before the road reopened to trucks this afternoon. A relief for many who had to wait it out in their sleeper cabs for days. And take a look at this. This is what it looked like on the side of I-80 near Applegate before the roads reopened. Dozens of trucks lining the exits inside of the highway. Wheels finally rolling on I-80 around 2:15 this afternoon after those blizzard conditions stranded trucks on the side of the road, some of them for days.
Stuck here about 4 days. Everyone is waiting for their package and we are delayed.
Pretty much have to be prepared and have plenty of water, plenty of food, just for conditions like this.
Blizzard conditions of this duration are unusual for the Sierra. Over the weekend, some drivers abandoned vehicles at Donner Summit on I-80, and some needed to be pulled from the snow after getting trapped near Echo Summit on Highway 50. Now, Caltrans is reminding drivers who have to head out on the roads to take it slow and be prepared. Keep an extra eye out for any equipment that might still be out on the roads, working to make sure that they're clear for drivers who need to pass. Back here out near I-80, trucks are required to have chains with them. There's a checkpoint just behind me. A lot to keep an eye out for. Becca?
Yeah, Alicia, that video that you showed really underscores the danger of these conditions when it is that snowy. Thank you so much and stay safe out there. And we want to take you live to a different place along I-80. Our Luke Clary joins us right now near the Dutch Flat exit. Now, Luke, you're getting some numbers tonight on just how many people have been impacted by this storm.
Hey, yeah, that's right, Becca. I talked to representatives of 2 different towing companies, and they revised their estimates over the weekend to 300 vehicles that had to be removed from the mountain passes. That's up from about 200 we heard earlier this weekend. And it's going to be a very profitable weekend for the towing companies, but a very costly one for anyone who had to have their vehicle pulled out from the snow. More on that in a moment. But if you could see just behind me, Interstate 80 is back open to both semi-truck traffic and passenger cars. Passenger cars were allowed back on the roads early this morning. The trucks are back as of a couple of hours ago. And back to my conversation with one of these tow truck drivers, he expressed some real frustration with the folks who, in spite of many warnings, decided to head out onto the roads over the weekend anyway. Take a listen.
Do you not watch the news? Do you not watch TV? I mean, y'all got social media and phones and stuff. It was all over TikTok and everything. Don't come up here if you don't need to. Snow tire, snow chains, 4-wheel drive, that's it. If you didn't have any of that, don't come up here.
Yeah, pretty clear message there. Don't come up here if you don't have any of that. We're showing you a bit of video from earlier this evening. As you can see, though, traffic has been moving fairly slowly where we're standing on I-80 at the Dutch Flat exit. And if you come back out here to me live, we've got some numbers in terms of what it would cost you to get pulled out from the snow. The tow company that we just talked to said that for a passenger car, you're looking at $300 to $500 just to get pulled out. And if you're a driver of a big rig, long haul truck, you're looking easily into the thousands. And with this being a major transportation thoroughfare from California to the rest of the country, the actual cost of this entire storm is probably somewhere in the millions. That will be something I know that we'll be hearing more about in the days to come. But for now, we'll send it back to you, Becca.
Wow, Luke, a very expensive trip if someone could have possibly just stayed home. Thank you for those numbers and for that good reminder. You know, we've also been monitoring the conditions along Highway 50. This is near Ice House Road this afternoon. You can see the roads are clearing up, but snow still remains. And of course, you can stay informed on road closures, outages, and important weather alerts like that tow truck driver talked about with our ABC 10 app. It's free. Just download it wherever you get your apps, and please don't forget to turn on notifications. In other news tonight, the man found guilty of shooting and killing a Placer County waitress has been sentenced to 50 years to life. Johnny Jordan walked into the House of Oliver restaurant and killed his former girlfriend, Vita Joga, in the summer of 2021. On that day, Jordan was supposed to appear in court on charges related to threats he had made against Joga. Instead, Jordan, a convicted felon at the time who was not allowed to have a gun, skipped court, went to his ex's workplace, and fatally shot her. He then turned himself in. Joga was remembered by family and friends as a vibrant woman who could light up a room. In Sonoma County, 4 deputies are hurt and a man is dead after a chase and shootout. This all happened overnight just south of Santa Rosa. Deputies say a man led them on a chase and at one point stopped to shoot at them. Well, the deputies returned fire, causing the suspect to crash. He died at the scene. 4 deputies were hurt and sent to the hospital. 1 remains in critical condition with a head injury. In Sacramento, police found a woman dead during a welfare check. Officers say they responded to a home on Ventura Street yesterday. Upon arrival, they heard gunshots and set up a perimeter. When they were able to get inside the house, they found a woman who was shot. She died on the scene. There's no word yet on a possible suspect. Still ahead, on To The Point. The concerns about voting in a storm. How elections officials are working to make sure your vote is counted. And later, the sneaky way companies are getting you to pay more for less product.
Isn't that the perfect scam when the victim doesn't know they've been taken?
Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods joins us. Monica, what do we know about this second round of storms?
I know. Here we go again, right? It just doesn't seem to end. Everybody's saying, can we just get a little bit more of a break here? Well, we actually will get a break because this storm is going to pull a little bit farther to the north. In terms of our temperatures right now, we're in the 50s in the valley, 40s for the foothills, and 20s to near 30 for the Sierra. If you're out for that evening walk, bring an umbrella. Likely not going to need it. Cloudy skies will continue through the evening with our low at about 46 degrees. We'll keep those clouds through tonight and still seeing precipitation out there on our radar, especially right along I-80 and northward. And again, that's where this system is pulling more to the north of us here. And active Pacific remains in our outlook as we are trekking multiple weather systems in the 10-day forecast. Not all of them are going to be big whoppers like what we saw over the weekend, though. Total rainfall through Thursday is less than 1/10 of an inch for the valley. That gives you an indication of how weak this weather system is. And we're only picking up about 1 to 7 inches of snow for the Sierra. Compare that to the roughly 70 to 120 inches of snow that we saw over the past 4 days. And this really doesn't look like much of anything. In terms of what we're seeing for tomorrow, areas of spotty showers for the morning commute, and we'll see that on and off through our Wednesday and Thursday forecast. So it's not going to be kind of in and out of here very quickly. After that, we're under this ridge of high pressure, and we get right back to some milder weather in the outlook, although we still have a slight chance of some weekend showers. Highs for tomorrow in the 30s for the Sierra, 40s and 50s throughout the foothills, with highs in the 60s along the coast. And as we travel inland, mild start to the morning with readings in the 40s. Highs will warm into the 60s with a chance of on and off showers here right through the next 5 days for the mountains. Just keep those snow chains handy and be prepared for on and off travel delays in the high country. Should be decent enough, though, to travel up into the higher elevations to get some skiing and snowboarding in and really take advantage of all that beautiful snow that came in. Our 10-day forecast, again, on and off showers continue for the next 10 days. Overall, though, these weather systems coming in are very unorganized, and we're not going to see a ton of rain in the outlook. Just one, then we're going to have to dodge some drops here and there.
Well, next on To the Point, how elections officials are making sure voting centers stay open regardless of the weather. Plus, the Supreme Court making a major ruling in the Trump ballot case, what this could mean for the nation. Well, the primary election is tomorrow, and this weekend's storm has caused issues for voters in counties that saw a lot of snow. As our Jeannie Nguyen found out, some vote centers even closed due to safety concerns.
Yeah, Becca, tomorrow is the last day to vote, and county officials tell me they will be making sure voting centers stay open tomorrow regardless of the weather. But they also want to make sure everyone gets their ballot turned in safely.
The weekend was pretty hectic.
A blizzard warning and a major storm caused some issues for officials in El Dorado, Nevada, and Placer counties as they try to keep voting centers open. In El Dorado County, the storm proved to be too dangerous over the weekend.
Unfortunately, one of the vote centers wasn't able to open on Friday.
The county's registrar of voters, Bill O'Neill, says it even caused issues for some employees.
They were digging their cars out, spending hours digging out so that they could get to the vote centers in time.
The storm even caused some voting centers to close in Nevada County.
On Saturday, our vote center over at the Tahoe Truckee Unified School District had to close a half hour early. And then conditions on Sunday got so gnarly that we had to close both those vote centers, not only at the Unified School District, but also at Truckee Town Hall.
Some county officials believe voter turnout has been impacted because of the storm. In Placer County, turnout is currently at 20%, and over in El Dorado County, staff says it's at 22%. While Nevada County officials don't have exact numbers just yet, Adona suspects the weather has played a part in people voting.
Logic tells us that if you're snowed in, you probably can't get out to vote. So I would assume that there has been some impact.
If people are having issues getting to a voting center or accessing their ballots, county officials urge people to contact them so they can figure out a way to make sure their ballots are counted.
Please vote.
I'd love people to get out there and vote.
County officials are hoping voter turnout will increase with a lot of people choosing to vote in person tomorrow. And a list of voting centers of the locations can be found on county's websites. We have also posted those on our website at abc10.com/politics. Becca.
Ginny, thank you. Now, of course, there are several big statewide and local races on your ballot, one includes the race to replace late Senator Dianne Feinstein. The major candidates are Congress members and Democrats Adam Schiff, Katie Porter, and Barbara Lee, as well as Republican and former baseball player Steve Garvey. On your ballot, you will see a section for who you want to finish Feinstein's term, as well as who you want to serve a full term in the Senate. The top two vote getters tomorrow will move on to the November ballot. In Sacramento, voters will be voting for the city's next mayor. There are 6 candidates. Now, I interviewed each of them, and you can see their full interviews as well as stories specifically about their views on homelessness, crime, and housing on ABC 10's YouTube channel. Now, unless one candidate gets more than 50% of the vote tomorrow, again, those top 2 vote getters will advance to the general election in November. And in Stockton, again, 6 candidates are asking for your vote to become the city's next mayor. We also sat down with all of those candidates. You can watch their interviews right now on our website, abc10.com/elections. There you will also find a voter guide with more top races in our area. And voters in California, along with 14 other states, will be voting for a presidential nominee. Right now, President Biden is the leading contender for the Democratic nomination with no substantial primary challenge. Former President Donald Trump is leading Nikki Haley in the Republican nomination race. Haley, however, is celebrating her first victory in Washington, D.C. That makes her the first woman to ever win a Republican presidential primary or caucus. It comes as the Supreme Court has ruled that former President Donald Trump can stay on the 2024 ballot. The case surrounded Colorado's Supreme Court decision to disqualify Trump from its primary ballot, citing Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. The section reads, no one who has taken an oath to support the Constitution and then engaged in insurrection can hold public office afterward. And now in a unanimous decision, the justices wrote, quote, the Constitution makes Congress rather than the states responsible for enforcing Section 3. Trump is now voicing his support for the ruling.
It's a very important decision. We're very well crafted, and I think it will go a long way toward bringing our country together.
The ruling has implications nationwide, with both Maine and Illinois now forced to put Trump back on the ballot after kicking him off. The Supreme Court will soon hear arguments in another case involving Trump and presidential immunity. The case surrounds the January 6th attack on the Capitol and will decide whether Trump can be prosecuted for his actions while still president. He has pleaded not guilty. Next, on To the Point, the hidden ways companies are getting you to pay more for less, what to look out for, and how you might be able to stop it. In your price points tonight, how often do you check the label on the products you buy at the grocery store? Keep your eye on the net weight or the product count label. Well, manufacturers can get sneaky with a process you might have heard of called shrinkflation. Tonight, consumer investigator Steve Steger from our sister station KUSA in Denver talked to a consumer advocate who has been tracking the shrinking size of products for decades.
I've been tracking shrinking products probably since the 1960s.
Call it a lifelong obsession.
When I was a teenager, I remember my Mounds candy bar used to be 2 ounces and all of a sudden became 1 point something.
Consumer advocate Edgar Dworsky has spent his entire career doing something consumers don't do enough. Checking the label to see how much products have shrunk while manufacturers charge the same price. A phenomenon called shrinkflation.
It really is a sneaky way to pass on a price increase.
Through the years, Dworsky has seen some shrinkflation doozies.
Here's the history of Breyer's ice cream. Originally, ice cream, popular brands, had 64 ounces. They were half a gallon. Then we lost the cup and they went down to 56 ounces. And the current size is typically 48 ounces, losing another cup.
He says inflation makes shrinkflation more prevalent. On his website, consumerworld.org, Dworsky's tracking the shrinking size of everything from baby wipes. These Huggies somehow lost 64 wipes per box last year. To coffee, 3 ounces less in the new Folgers breakfast blend.
Isn't that the perfect scam when the victim doesn't know they've been taken?
He also tracks a phenomenon called skimpflation, where manufacturers use different ingredients for the same product. Take this carton of Blue Bunny, for example, which changed ingredients from milk and cream to skim milk and whey.
And it didn't even qualify under federal rules to be called ice cream anymore. It's now called frozen dairy dessert for many of their varieties.
So what can you do to be a better consumer? Pay attention.
They're following the rules, if you will. putting what's in the product on the ingredient statement, putting the net weight or net count on the front of the package. If we don't pay attention to that, shame on us.
Okay, so look, it is important to note consumers can make a difference here. We can. Consider the story of Conagra's Smart Balance margarine. Now, last year, they changed the ingredients to include less oil. It went from 64% to 39%. Conagra got enough one-star reviews. They changed the product back. So in this case, the squeaky wheels got more grease. And before we got that ago, we have a reminder that tomorrow, of course, is California's primary election. And as long as you are in line to vote by 8 p.m. when those polls close, you will have a chance to vote. We'll have live coverage of the election throughout the evening, and you can stay with ABC 10 as election results start coming in. We'll be streaming live on the ABC 10 Plus app, speaking with our political experts and reporters at local election parties. You can download the ABC 10 Plus app in your device's app store. And we always want to hear what's going on in your community. You can shoot the team an email at tothepoint@abc10.com. We read your emails. We appreciate hearing from you. Have a great night.
Hey, it's Alex. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. The To The Point team and I love hearing from you, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. And don't forget, you can always email me and the team at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send us a text message at 916-321-3310.